What's up, everybody? It's me, RDV. I'm here with Zach on a budget, because that's right. Zach is going broke, and he's dropping books like hotcakes.
I'm not going broke. I'm just becoming a mature, responsible comic book reader.
He doesn't have kids, and he's losing books.
I don't have kids, but I like to go on dates, and dates cost money. So here I am.
That's right. Yeah, nobody pays, goes halves anymore.
Nah, nobody goes halvesies. What is it, going Dutch? Is that what it is when the woman pays?
I don't know.
But anyway.
Oh, I hope it's... Am I roboting already?
You're kind of, you were kind of choppy there.
Am I already roboting?
No, you're back to normal. You weren't roboting. Your camera looked a little blurry.
Yeah.
But you're fine now.
Because I had the problem with you, and you went, yeah, so...
Nah,
like good. I said, deal with us, guys. We might be experiencing some technical difficulties. I have to replace my modem. My modem, I think, is going.
Gone.
Here's to hoping these picks actually turn out to be the best comic books of the week. Thank you, Maranya. Hello to Ash. He's here to simp for Zach, as we all should be simping for Zach.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hello to Undead Quinn. Hello to Eva Black Cat. I cannot say that second word, but I'll say hello, meow. All right, let's jump into this before my internet crashes. All right. So last week I went first, I think. So okay. I'll let you go first this week.
Alrighty then. This week we're starting out at the bottom of my list at number 5. We're going for an old favorite, good tried and true book. We've got Detective Comics right there at the front of the line, number 1071. Ram V. Cy Spurrier actually writing on this as well. I think he's doing the backup story with Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, and that's
it's actually one of the better ones. It's one of the better backup stories, I think. I think so.
I saw a screenshot from last week and some chick kicking Mr. Freeze in the balls.
Yeah, well, that's a chick that Mr. Freeze took hostage and is like trying to find out because what is it now?
His wife,
yeah, his wife hates him. Like ever since he thawed her out, she doesn't love him or anything. So he's trying to figure out how to reverse that. So, but that's the backup story. Let's talk about the main story. The main reason you're picking this up. It's Ram V writing Batman. You've got Cheshire Cat. You've got the Orgums. Talia al Ghul. The Al Ghuls are kind of involved with the Orgums. Yeah. They went over the last few issues. It's been a really great read. I'm liking this. This is the Bat book that I'm keeping. I'm dropping the Zdarsky Batman from my pull list. I'm also dropping Zdarsky Daredevil. I'm just dropping Zdarsky. I'm sorry, Chip. You're not wowing me enough. But Ram V, he's safe. He gets to stay on the pull list. This has been a great book. I've been liking it. I've been liking his take on this twisted gothic version of Gotham. I like what he's been doing with Batman. I like these new characters, the Orgums. He also has some of the classic Batman rogues, but there's also enough new stuff to keep it fresh, keep it from feeling like it's repetitive. So I've really been liking it.
The only other nitpick I have on this is shoes. We call it Cheshire Cat. Cheshire is a villain in the DC universe going around, and she wears a Cheshire Cat mask.
Right.
So shoes calling yourself the Cheshire Cat, it's that's already taken. You trying to be another Cheshire?
Yeah, but what have they done with the other Cheshire at all recently? Nothing. I mean, I think now
really annoys me
because I say probably. She was seen. They do have her on that big cover, Joshua Williamson's Green Arrow. She is on that big spread that you've seen with all the Green Arrow cast members. Yeah. She is in there, so possibly she turns up in the Williamson Green Arrow run, which may pop up later on this evening. But up until then, though, she hasn't been seen anywhere else. So
yeah, I think the last time I saw her was in Joshua Williamson, or was it Tynan? I think it was Tynan. Just basically made he basically humiliated her. He had Batman just to beat her within 3 seconds. Which really annoyed me. Because she's second to as far as Deadliest Assassin to.
Oh,
I'm back.
There you
Like
go.
I said, and it's,
Second to Deathstroke. You were saying?
no, second to Lady Shiva.
Oh, okay. Lady
Yeah,
Shiva, really? Huh.
Lady Shiva is the most deadliest assassin in the DC universe.
I would have thought for sure like Deathstroke was, or maybe like Talia
Well,
or Roz.
Probably now Deathstroke now, but I mean like what they've done to the characters. But
Mhm.
she, like I said, in the New 52 version, they had her actually. Basically, it took like all of the Green Arrow family and just trying to defeat her. You know?
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like they really amped her up. Plus, she was it was her and Slade. They were basically like the main villains of the Teen Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Back
Wait,
in the
Lady
day.
Shiva?
No, not Lady Shiva.
Oh, Cheshire. Yeah, right. Because
Like-
she and Roy Harper, they had the kid together.
Like Cheshire, like I love the New 52 version they had of her because she pretty much like using her fingernails with the poison on them, and she basically just
Mhm.
like killed over 537 people at the airport and like caused a airliner to crash.
Yeah.
And just like she's like the last time they had a character being a villain, murdering people. It's like I don't know.
Oh, wait. Evil Black Cat is saying that Shu is the daughter of Cheshire and Roy Harper.
Wait, it's Leanne? I thought Leanne
Is that Leanne? No, Leanne's not dead. They brought her back.
Because Cheshire also had a kid with Catman too, but that was not a daughter, but a son named Thomas Blake Jr.
Wait.
Both of them had died.
Oh, Catman. I thought you meant Wildcat for a second.
No, Catman. Wildcat.
There's too many cat people. Can't keep up with them all.
Uh,
But anyway, I mean, hey, if it is her daughter, yeah, Leanne.
okay, then it makes sense. Okay. All
So
right.
it kind of makes sense then. It's like a legacy thing. Sorry, Ash.
I turned my
sorry.
camera off. Maybe it'll help it out.
Yeah, that might
No problem.
actually. I've seen that. That does happen sometimes. It's less strain on the CPU or the RAM, whatever it is.
I hit the wrong button. I'm having problems with my internet right now, so I apologize to anybody who's coming in.
Do you want me to? Oh, you got it. Supremacy.
Unless you want to do it, I don't care. Either way, I'm having problems with the internet, so let's go off of here. Go to the next one.
Okay, let's go to your number 5.
Yeah, and Eric Bree said, how did you get your teen? She should be about 4 years old.
She was 4 years old, like 12 years ago, back when they killed her.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Might have been over 12 years ago. Might have been
Well,
15.
I'll just say it's ironic that you have Detective Comic is number 5 because it's actually my number 5.
Oh, is it really? Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know you had it on your list. Okay. I tried to pick books that I didn't think you were going to have on your list because I know we're going to have some crossover.
Definitely, but it may not be in the same order.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've been loving with Ram V when he does the flashbacks to the Argos. My thing is, I hope that the Vigil doesn't, or the Vigil, whatever, doesn't pop up here again. Like I said, I didn't care for anybody coming in saying like, "You better do this, or we'll do it for you." I'm thinking like Batman's like, dude, back in my day, you would have been like scared the shit out of because that's the thing. It just feels like Batman today, written by certain writers, he's basically kind of a pushover compared to where he was back in like I said not even 20 years ago. Like I said, I mean I like having characters struggle, but not the point where he like Batman is basically like just being showed up constantly by other people and villains.
I don't know. I'm kind of excited for that. I know Ram V's got that new series on the Vigil coming out soon. I'm kind of excited about that.
Yeah, well, hopefully that does well. I mean, like it's hard to get a new team off the ground, and then who else is going to be in there? Like,
I think it's all new characters as far as I know. Like maybe I know they interacted with Red Hood, but I don't think he'll be a part of the team. I don't know. I'm curious. I'm intrigued. It's Ram V. I like Ram V's writing. So
yeah. Well, hopefully it turns out to be good. Like I said, it's been kind of moving down my list compared to some of the books that are coming out. So. All right, so let's go. And then your number 4 is going to be what, sir?
My number 4, I know you don't have this one, and I actually forgot it was coming out this week until I looked it up. But a few weeks ago, there was a comic book that I came across, and I was like, let me try this out. And it ended up being really, really good. And it was Clobberin' Time. That was number 1. This week is Clobberin' Time number 2. And that last issue, the art style, it's a little gritty. It's a little raw. It's almost kind of like Ryan Otley when it comes to like gore and violence. but it was a really good story. It was a Thing and Hulk team up story. It kind of was a lot like the Marvel 2-in-1 books, or the ones with the Thing. I think those were 2-in-1. And yeah, this next one is the Thing teaming up with Wolverine, and so yeah, it's him. He's going to Krakoa. The synopsis starts out almost kind of cringe. It's like the Thing goes to Krakoa for a conference on mutant and superhuman connections and stuff, like some kind of networking thing for superheroes. But he ends up teaming up with Wolverine, and they confront this adversary that he fought against in issue number 1. Like I said, it was a really fun story. I'm curious to see where it goes. Steve Scroce, I think is how you say his name. Steve Scroce.
Scroce, I don't know.
Scroce, maybe. He did really good. I enjoyed his stuff. I enjoyed his storytelling. Like I said, the art was a little. It took some getting used to, but I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to number 2 with him and Wolverine. I like the Thing and Wolverine whenever they team up together. They're really fun.
Undead Quincy only has 2 books this week.
Awesome. Oh wow.
Hello to Tehillim. Hello to Mark and Eric Breen. Thanks for showing up tonight. Anybody else who might be watching and just hasn't said anything? We got a lot of people watching tonight. So it's always fun when we have more than just when it's more than just you and I. And hello to Ashton Comics joining us.
Ashton Comics.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and simp for Zach.
I thought you were gonna start quoting Christopher Walken. I have come here.
Are you all out of bubblegum, Ash?
I'm all out of bubblegum.
Yes.
My
simp army is rising.
Yes, that is so.
I gotta ask though, was it bubble yum? What kind of gum?
Oh, who chews bubble yum?
Yeah,
everyone.
Bubblicious.
There you go.
All right. I like Reiki better.
Ash, how many comics are you getting this week on New Comic Book Day? Is it 0? Is it 1?
It is not 0.
Oh, okay.
It's 1 probably.
Is it no, I know it's at least 1. I know it's at least 1.
Yes.
Because there's a Mark Millar book, so I know it's at least 1.
I am getting a Mark Millar book. That is true.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Olivia in suspense.
I can't give away everything right in the beginning.
That's true. Tehillim says his number 5 is also Detective Comics. So we got 3 people picking up Detective this week that have it at number 5.
All right. So my number 4 is second issue of a series, and it's bringing back Nightmare.
Oh, nice.
Looking forward to this. First issue was kind of rushed, it's kind of like, but I'm hoping that it stays to be pretty good. But yeah, I'm liking the cover,
Yeah.
And
that is a cool cover. Yeah.
Like I said, we've talked about Jed MacKay before. Jed MacKay is slightly above mid. And for me, like I said, he goes in there, goes A to B, does what needs to be done, gives you a semi-entertaining story, and you're not getting all that crap that they're putting in there as far as, with some of the other books, like you see with the current X-Men and just how they're handling stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's always great when you don't give a comic book that's not connected to Hellfire Gala or the other bullshit that's going on.
That is true. As long as there's no Hellfire Gala, that's a plus.
Right. That goes in the pro column for sure.
It looks like a classic story. Kids are being, have a sleeping sickness, and basically Doctor Strange and his wife Clea basically team up. They go in the dream dimension to confront their old foe Nightmare. But as they describe it in the synopsis, is it really Nightmare? I'm thinking, is it really Nightmare that's really causing this sickness, or is somebody else taking over that realm and imposing? Who knows? Yeah.
Is it? Are you saying maybe it's a legacy nightmare?
Well, it is a legacy number.
Well, for those who read the other issue, his Clea went and murdered somebody in the issue 1. If you remember that,
Oh,
Zach.
that sounds like a hero.
Yeah. Well, Clea is not as heroic as Doctor Strange is.
No,
as
she's not
Stephen
really
Strange.
hero, but she's still
She's
kind of-
more. She's more. Yeah, because she's not the Doctor. Because I was like, I think that was one of the things from issue 1, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where Stephen's like, I'm a doctor, I help people, and Cleo's like, we need to kill
No,
bad
I'm
guys
a
or
doctor.
something.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
this guy was enslaving other people, and of a different dimension. She said Steven went in there, basically talked to him, and she knew that this guy was going to come back and cause her life problems, so she murdered him.
Yeah.
Or that's what we're led to believe. We don't know. But yeah, hopefully this is gonna be a good story.
Yeah.
I'm not really huge when it comes to like Doctor Strange. Being a fan,
Mhm.
I'm not on Dalton's level yet when it comes to knowledge. Slowly getting there. I'm only on book Tomb. Sorry. Yeah.
That was bad pun, even by my standards. Even by my standards, that was bad.
Like I said, Jed MacKay has been proven to be a pretty decent writer.
Yeah.
So, like I said, there's not really many books at Marvel that I can say that there's actually a good writer.
Mhm.
Or no. Cates, I don't know if he's ever coming back to writing, if he still even does any writing right now.
He's still on. I think
Break.
he's still on sabbatical or whatever it is. He still has Vanish. That's still coming out. That's
Yeah,
like his indie book.
But I wonder how many of those he wrote beforehand.
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see what goes on. All I'm gonna say is if you're gonna buy anything in Marvel, Jed MacKay is usually the safest bet. And I hate it says here. I hate somebody put out yesterday is like when I says like, oh, the safest bet is when you say like no, it never used to be that way. You used to be able to pick up any book and you had no problem with that being horrible. As Ash put out last night, what was made in the 80s is golden in today's age. Because the mid is a different meaning now. The level of writing is completely drastically changed. The people who are writing are less than mid writers, and he said when you finally get someone like dude, I read Ron Lim's Warlock Rebirth or whatever it's called, and Ron Lim is not like an A class writer. I'd say
he's an artist.
Lim is the artist.
Oh, sorry, Ron Mars. Sorry. Well,
there's 2 Rons on the same book.
They're both on the same level. Ron Mars, like I said, yeah. But that was Amazeballs. I liked it. It's weird how things have changed now. But anyway, I don't want to drag on to that. What we got here? Eric said he did read Green Arrow 1, but he thought it was mid.
I saw he picked it up. I saw in the Twitter chat today. He said he picked that up and last week's Superman.
Well, Eric, we know that Green Arrow is mid, but how did you like the writing?
Hey, Green Arrow is awesome. I like Green Arrow. Mark McGrath says his number 5 book this week is Dahlia in the Dark, number 5. And then he says number 4 is Tales from Nottingham, which is good. I need to get back into reading those. I read the first volume of Nottingham. I really enjoyed it.
To him's number 4 was Dead Boy Detectives.
Nice.
Still going with that. All
Very cool.
Alrighty. Let's get to your number. I guess your number 3.
Number 3. Yep. Or Ash, do you have a number 3 to share?
I do not.
Okay.
We'll get to when we get to your number 1.
Well, I didn't know if he had 2 or 3 or if he just has the 1. I didn't know. So.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't have 2 because there's 2 books coming out this week he should be picking up.
Oh, is there a second one?
If Zach is the fan that he says, he should know if I have 2 books or not.
I think you have 2 books.
I know he has at least 1. I might be able to guess the second one, but I'm not 100% sure.
So let's go to your number 3.
My number 3. All right, my number 3. The only Marvel book I have. Oh no, I can't say that. Clobberant Time jumped up there. So what was originally the only Marvel book on my pull list this week is a one-shot. It's Guardians of the Galaxy, Bane of Blastar. This is being written by Ralph Macchio, not the Karate Kid, the other one.
How far down is it?
It's a good ways. Unfortunately, not a lot of people. You might have gone too far. Oh nope, there it is. There it is. So this is a one shot. It is. I actually like this Guardians lineup. It's got the movie ones that you all recognize in the movie. They also have Nova on there, which I really like. I like Richard Rider a lot. And it's them against Blastar, who is one of my favorite Marvel cosmic villains. It's a one-shot, which I'm okay with. Honestly, if you give me a choice between a really good one-shot and a miniseries, I'll go with the one-shot. Just because I don't like collecting miniseries. If you can give me a good one-and-done story, I'll take it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I like Guardians of the Galaxy. They're one of my favorite Marvel titles. It's good to see them. I kind of like this, as far as the art goes, I like this cover art. This is Todd Knock on the main cover. There is a variant, though, that I'm hoping to get by Mateus Manahini. It has a really cool stylized look to it that I really dig. But yeah, downside is it's only 28 pages. So that's kind of a bummer. But if it's a really good 28 pages, you'll hear about it on Thursday.
It is on my pull list, but it's not on my top 5.
Ah, okay.
But I want to check it out because it's Ralph Macchio.
It's Ralph Macchio, and it's Blastar. Blastar hasn't been in a Marvel book. I don't even know when the last
time Blastar was in a Marvel book was probably those 2 readings we did on the Geeky Puppet channel.
No, they've had him. No, I tell you what. No, they did have him in the Guardians of the Galaxy. It was right after or right around Civil War. I remember they had him. They had him in a prison in the Negative Zone.
Yeah, but you'd better check him out in the original Fantastic Four run that we read on the channel. Those 2 issues, back issues.
Yeah,
they're fun. Puppetine got the voice Blastar. We had Sandman was voiced by none other than back issue Breen. So yes. Get the guy with the freakishly long fingers to voice the guy who does finger blasting.
I hate that term. Hate that term.
It's a skill. Not everybody has that skill.
Not everybody needs it.
Moving on. All right, I'll go to my number 3. Number 3 is a book we just kind of talked about it, and I want to check it out. It's Green Arrow number 1. It's Joshua Williamson. Right now, I'm looking at 92 of 99 liked so far because it came out today. So maybe Green's just old. He doesn't like good things.
He bought it. You know how rare it is for Breen to buy a modern day book? I think if Breen buys it, that's an endorsement right there.
It is weird that the guy who works at the comic book shop would buy a book instead of just reading at the comic book shop.
I'm sure he probably reads through several of them, but does he purchase any of them? That's the question.
But hey, what's up, AHR? What's going on? Haven't seen you in the channel well. Ed Brewer, great to see you. All right, so yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I do not care for Connor. I think Connor Hawk is one of the worst characters in DC. Sorry, and then especially now they made him go the way of Tim Drake.
No, they didn't.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
He's not gay.
He's bisexual.
Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
He's not bisexual. He's asexual, which means he doesn't. There's no romantic pairing that he's involved in. He's basically a monk.
You say so.
No, that is the terminology. I'm very familiar with it.
Monks aren't asexual.
They're they're not. They're celibate. Yeah, but I'm just saying you're not going to see Connor making out with any boys or anything like that.
You say that now. Is that your final answer?
Yes, that is, because I know what asexual means.
But do the people writing it know?
I'm sure they do. They praise it like it's a religion. I'm sure they do. So.
All right.
Well, the important thing is that Connor won't be kissing girls. That is the important thing. So it is a victory for certain groups.
There you go.
Yes. Overall, this is tying into Dark Crisis, where basically the only person that didn't return back from all the heroes was Oliver Queen. So basically, his family is going to look for him. Hopefully, Roy has. I'm not gonna guess. Does this version of Roy, is he missing an arm, or did he magically get his arm back?
I don't think was Roy ever missing his arm in the comics.
I
knew in Young Justice he was. In the cartoon he was.
I thought in the comic books he actually lost his arm a little bit. So
not that I recall.
Dang it.
I think that was just a Young Justice cartoon thing.
Actually,
they-
it, pretty good. It looks kind of cool if he did.
Eh.
Anyway, though, like I said, I'm with Ash, and like Green Arrow is like hit or miss for me. I think Green Arrow,
Archery joke. That was better.
yeah, it was a one-time virtue signal, which will likely be forgotten during this run. Says Spirit Green.
There you go. Look at Breen being positive and fun today. Oh, but he also says Roy did have his arm blow off. Okay, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just saying, like, did they just retcon that out of existence? Like, oh, he just has an arm broken.
Well, he did die and come back, so.
Well, even before he was killed in Heroes of Crisis.
Remember, this is the dawn of DC, so they're
Yeah.
just starting fresh.
Yeah.
Whatever. Nothing else
Yeah.
happened mattered.
The secret writer was asexual. The character became asexual. Of course. Right. So the writer's stupid like Megan Fitzmartin, the character becomes stupid like Megan Fitzmartin. Makes sense. When you self-insert yourself into the characters. Half good, half try hard. It sounds like a bad version of Die Hard. Try hard.
Something you
Sean-
don't see that you don't see most DC writers doing. Trying hard.
It's true. I'll take
Sorry.
trying hard over not even trying.
I mean, when they limit you what you can do, you're kind of just going to phone it in, right? The good writers, at least. Like I said, Green Arrow for me is like I said, and I wasn't trying to make a pun or hit or miss. It's not about that. Just trying to say that he basically was like, he's there. Not to saying that he couldn't be good in his own solo series, but I mean, the incarnations we've seen of Oliver Queen in Batman are always like they're always trying to Oliver's trying to one up him, always. I don't know if that's his character in the comic books. I haven't read a lot of his comic books. It's just a character that always came out kind of cocky, kind of like hey, what's up, Bats? And like he's for comic relief. I don't know. By that I mean trying too hard to make Ollie a good male feminist. I mean, isn't that what his character has always been, kind of?
Green Arrow has historically always been a lefty.
But I mean, is being a male feminist.
I mean, male feminists are typically lefties, so.
Because I always thought he was kind of like a chauvinistic prick.
No, not really.
At least the cartoons made him out that way. So I don't know.
Maybe I don't know. I remember. I think it was at the beginning of the Kevin Smith Phil Hester run. He gets shocked because he has like this butler, this servant who's gay. And so then he turns out to be a bad guy. And he's like, "Oh man, I thought you were good because you're gay." And I was like, he was like, "No, Ollie, gay guys can be bad guys too." So,
yeah, Megan Fitzmartin needs to find a deep cave and not come out for all eternity. When you say that, I think of Rita Repulsa. After 10,000 years, I'm free. It's gonna be Megan Fitzmartin. Power Rangers joke. If you haven't seen it, you don't know.
Go
Alright.
Power Rangers.
Watch one season, and that's enough for me.
I don't know. I didn't watch Power Rangers.
You were in a sheltered life, and I value. I actually envy you that for some things. I wasn't allowed to see certain things. I was exposed to that. I was actually wasn't damaged.
I'll take
Not being
Power Rangers
allowed to-
over I'll take Power Rangers over most CW shows any day.
You're probably better off, yeah.
Well, there's only 2 CW shows left, unless you count All American. I was really watching that. Oh yeah. So basically, Evil Cat real quickly saying he was a chauvinistic pig until he died, and then he decided to commit to Canary. I wonder who the writer was when he came back to life.
That was Kevin Smith and Phil Hester. That was the start of their run when he came back.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a good run. It's
It sounds
probably
like
Kevin
you were
Smith's
saying
best book.
shamanistic.
Shaman.
I'm like a shamanistic bit. Like what?
Chauvinistic.
Chauvinistic.
Chauvinist. Yeah.
I
it's
say what
called-
I want. If you don't like
You can
it,
say what you want. I'm just telling you what it sounded like. I was like shamanistic. Man, what the? That's weird.
yeah.
I-
Charmanistic. He likes
Charmin.
Charmin.
It's my Wisconsin accent, okay?
So what you're saying is Green Arrow's soft.
And
two-ply. He's a
soft
two-ply.
and absorbs well.
Nothing.
Lasts longer and soft. All right, so that's my number 3.
Cool.
Let's read off. Does anybody else got any number 3s that we missed?
Tehillim says his number 3. He's reading Blue Beetle still, the Graduation Day miniseries.
Wow.
So, which I read today. Apparently, like, because the movie's coming out, not because the miniseries is good, but they're giving that creative team like an ongoing Blue Beetle series now. So, good for them, I guess. So.
It could be worse. So
They're giving them an ongoing until they cancel it at issue 9.
Until they cancel at issue 6 or 9, yeah, something like that. Now, I mean, to be fair, the writer, he did a decent job writing. I just couldn't take the art, the way he drew, the way it was drawn. Like Starfire looked horrible.
like Rossmo level horrible.
Almost Rossmo. Actually, I might prefer Rossmo to some of the art that this guy. Some of it was good, like the way he drew Blue Beetle, like the armor was cool. But then when he drew Starfire, you know that that Starfire was being modeled off of the Titan show.
The writer wasn't as good as Mark Guggenheim. We could just ignore the horrible art and just read the good story.
No, the writing was the best part. The art was what you had to get past in Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
Or at least that's in my opinion. Tehillim might be really enjoying the art. I'm not trying to like give you a hard time for that, Tehillim. You got an incoming transmission there, Captain Kirk?
Me?
I heard something. Somebody had an incoming transmission.
Wasn't me.
Okay.
Sorry, that was my phone. I tried to mute
Oh, it
quickly.
was you. You're Captain Kirk. Oh, okay.
No, that was a StarCraft.
Okay.
Yes. Start.
But yeah, Tehillim had a number 3, and that was the only one that I think I saw.
All right.
Chat. Oh no, Mark McGrath. Mark McGrath says he's getting By the Horns Dark Earth number 8.
All
That's
right.
cool.
So let's go to your number 2.
My number 2 is a book that I know Ash has on his list. It's Ambassadors number 3. Number 2 was a delight. Like, I really dug Ambassadors number 2. Number 1 was okay. Number 2 hooked me. And actually, I'm really interested in number 3. So the setup for Ambassadors is there's a scientist who's figured out how to give people superpowers. She's only giving them to 6 people in the entire country. So everyone's like trying to every country's trying to get their people to like be a superhero. And they're not like looking like, well, who's going to like pay us the most? They're going off of like judges of character. So last issue was like this kid from India. It was a really, really good story. I highly recommend it. This one is like a mother-son duo from Paris. So I'm really interested in seeing where this goes. It's also a different artist. I like what Millar is doing. He has a different artist on each book. The first book had Frank Quietly, which Ash is going to roll his eyes at me. I'm not a huge fan of Frank Quietly. But number 2 had Carl Kessel. And I'm a huge fan of his now. So this one, Travis Charest. I'm curious. I don't know if I've ever read anything with his artwork in it. But if it's anything like the cover, it looks really good. It almost looks like David Finch a little bit. I'm getting those kind of vibes. So really curious to see where this goes. There is also like some overarching character stuff, like the scientist that gives off the superpower. She's got an ex-husband who might be evil and might be trying to find information on how she's giving people powers. So yeah, this is really good. This is like Mark Miller is having like a big year so far between like this, Nemesis, Nightclub. He's got his big time crossover coming up. He's having a really good year. So good for him. He deserves it. He's one of the best writers out there, I think. So yeah, Ambassadors number 3. Check it out. Have a ball.
All right.
Allons-y.
Ash, is this your number 2?
It is not my number 2.
Okay. We'll go back to this book here.
My number 2 is a book that Zach should be getting, and I'm surprised he hasn't mentioned it yet. I don't think he's mentioned it.
I don't know if I have or if I haven't. What is it?
It's Action Comics. No, I was kidding.
No, it's not. I actually cut Action Comics from my pull list. It did not make the cut of greatness to stay on there, so I cut it.
It is Vanish number 6.
Vanish. Vanish is on my pull list.
Look how high up in the list it is too.
It is. Yeah, I noticed that. Right
You got
between-
Donnie Cates writing and Ryan Stegman art. These guys are a beautiful team. And where was that I was listening to? Was it on eStream? Someone I was on a stream. I thought it was eStream, where they were like talking about artists, and someone had said that it might have been Breen actually. But I'm senile, so I don't know. But they were saying that that Donnie Cates is. If you put this was E for sure. If you put Donnie Cates back in the 80s, he wouldn't survive as a writer. To which I vehemently disagree.
Okay.
And number 2, they were saying that Ryan Stegman doesn't sell books. To which I vehemently disagree.
I would have to disagree on that one. Ryan Stegman is a great artist, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he's like one of the all-time greats. I'm not going to put him next to like Jim Lee or Silvestri or whatever.
Right.
But as of today's artists, he's a top 10 percenter. And you know what he was doing at Venom? I mean, he was part of the reason why Venom became like the hot seller that it was.
Was he doing the early 90s Venom or late 80s?
No, he was doing Donnie Cates.
No, he
Venom.
was doing the Donnie Cates.
Oh, that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyways, I just wanted to, because I was just rolling my eyes in the comments when I was listening to that. So now I got a chance to speak about it. So this is an indie book that not a lot of people are paying attention to because most comic fans, if it doesn't say DC or Marvel on the book, they don't give a crap. They actually don't really care about the artist or the writers that much. They care about the characters, and that's fine. Everyone should do themselves. But, well, that sounded weird. Buy the books you like. But I like to encourage people to go outside of your wheelhouse. Be like RDV. RDV used to be like that once upon a time. And as his growth in his comic book journey has gone on, he's discovered all sorts of new stuff that he likes.
Yeah.
So
it took Marvel getting shitty for me to go to DC.
Sometimes it takes that.
Sometimes, yeah, that's how I used to be. I was strictly superheroes, Marvel and DC, and then between RDV, Ash, and Skip, I have like 3 Image books in my ongoings regularly.
I'm slowly becoming back issue RDV.
He is the new back issue. You're the legacy back issue guy.
Yeah, I inherited from my dad. Mr. Breen.
So, anyways, so I enjoy this pairing, this team quite a bit. Vanish is an interesting comic. It's it takes the concept of superheroes and mixes it with magic. It basically is like the superheroes that exist are because of magic, and the main character Vanish is kind of hunting them because the heroes aren't actually heroes. They're actually bad magicians that are hiding in the world as heroes. It's kind of interesting twist. You got to kind of read it. And it's just fun. It's a cool little book. I hope Donnie Cates gets through whatever life traumas that he's gone through. I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
I hope he can bounce back and, you know.
Oh man, now Eric Breen says he reads new books now. So he's basically new issue Breen.
Eric reads new books. Eric reads indies and he reads new books. Like, what's the world coming to?
He's
right?
He's been buying some Kurt Marvel. He's been getting the Joe Fixits. He's been getting the Avengers, War Across Time. He just picked up Green Arrow.
Yeah, he picked up last week's Superman too.
Yeah.
Tehillim is comparing me to Dan Didio and Skip to Jeff Johns. I'm not.
I don't know, but I want to say
I don't know where that comes from.
Yeah, that's weird. That's a weird one.
So Breen, I have a reason, maybe a positive explanation why Breen's buying new issues. The medication finally kicked in.
Oh my gosh.
It's supplied to him by Dr. Jason Aaron. But, what's up, Skip?
Skip.
Yeah, I wouldn't call anybody Dan Dildo. That's just weird.
Oh,
Well,
that.
I am currently buying a Dan Didio comics, so
I didn't know you liked the dildo.
no, I'm supporting the Frank Miller Presents, and I'm
Yeah,
giving,
he does have a book with them.
I'm
Ooh,
giving
that-
Didio a
ooh,
chance. And look,
ooh, that's
my thing against Dan Didio was him being the artistic coordinator, guy in charge of DC. Like that just wasn't his job, and he wasn't doing
Right.
good at it.
Yeah,
I don't translate that into now I hate all things Didio. Whatever he does in life, screw him.
Right.
It's like
he
might
bought that
have
car.
other
I
skills.
hate that car now.
And he did come to DC as a writer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like that's how he originally got into DC
Do you know
Comics.
what I blame the most? Jim
Yeah,
Lee
so-
just sitting there and doing nothing.
Well, Jim Lee, it's the same thing. Like Jim Lee is a fantastic artist, but he's just a crappy business leader. So it's not like I can like you have to separate the two. It's not like if Jim Lee was to draw a new series of Justice League or whatever, I'm not gonna be like, screw Jim Lee. His business his leadership is so bad. Like it doesn't carry over. Like he could be good at one thing and bad at another.
Yeah.
Same
True.
thing with Didion.
Yeah. Like I said, the worst thing that Didion did at all was bring over Bendis.
Did he do that?
Yeah.
I thought that was after he left. I don't know.
No,
It's
no.
been so long. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, and Tehillim says Didio should have stayed a writer. I don't know. I disagree. Didio was publisher at DC for quite a while and did some really good things for DC.
That's
so
true.
I think if he would have just stayed in his lane
Mm-hmm.
as publisher, and if he would have found a way to work with Jeff Johns, because I still argue the best era of DC,
It's Jeff Johns.
especially in this century,
Yeah.
right, is
Yep.
the 2016 Rebirth era when Jeff Johns was the chief creative officer and Didio was the publisher.
Okay, you went in a different direction. I thought I was gonna say the best period was pre-Flashpoint when like there
You would
was
be
like,
wrong.
you can be wrong too. We can both be
52,
wrong.
I like 52.
Pre-52, pre-new 52. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'll go to my number 2. Is a book that I thought Ash should be getting this week. Maybe it's number 1. Who knows? I'm going to scroll down a little bit to get to it. It's a book that Skip told me about.
Oh, I know what this is. You know what? This was the book that I thought he was going to. I thought was going to be one of Ash's books, also.
Did it get pushed? No, there it is. Torrent.
Nope, there it is.
Number 3.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying this. One of those books that makes you think that it's gonna go hardcore woke and have like and just I don't need no man. And turns around where she actually gets in over her head. She does the one thing heroes are not supposed to do. She decides, if I can't get any proof on this guy who basically killed my husband and kidnapped my son, I'm gonna do it the legal way. She basically unmasked herself, goes in and files a police report. The problem is if she's being a superhero, being a vigilante, she has a lot of stuff against her because you're kind of breaking the law, aren't you? By vigilantes, we'll find out what goes on. But I've been loving Justin Greenwood's art. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. It's slowly growing on me, and I've just been liking this. This is like a Lady Punisher story.
I dig it.
You know,
It reminds me of. Did you ever see the movie Peppermint? I think that was what it was called. Where it's like Jennifer Garner basically is a Lady Punisher. Like her family gets killed by a mob or a gang, and so she goes away and comes back just like armed to the teeth with all these guns. That's what this reminds me of.
Never saw it. I've heard of it. But yeah, it's like here she thinks well, if you guys aren't gonna help me get revenge on this guy, this Lex Luthor type guy, I'm gonna do it myself. She shows up in his building and he's like, he basically just beats the shit out of her. He's like, what? You didn't think I had any powers? You thought I was just some weakly guy? And he just yeets her out of the window and she's falling to her death. Like she's really about to die until her, like the superhero man version of their Justice League type league over. Basically, he picks her up. He's like, you know what? You were right. We're a family, no matter what. And we got your back. and she's able to get her son back at the last issue. Like I said, it's just been a hell of a ride. Yeah, I'm curious to see where it goes now, because now it ended with her going into the police station, taking off her mask and found a police report. Hopefully it goes good, because I've been liking Guggenheim stories. You know, the only thing that I didn't like that Guggenheim's done is the whole Velocity. I'm gonna call it Felicity smoke with Oliver Queen on Arrow.
Arrow. Okay, I was gonna say I wasn't a huge fan of when he was writing X-Men Gold. When Kitty Pryde had like the short haircut and everything.
I never. Is that within 2015 or was that?
Oh, that would have been, yeah, I think it was in 2015. It was like right after Bendis left Guardians of the Galaxy. They had 2 X-Men books. They had the first 5 X-Men come to the future from the past. So there was like Young Cyclops, Young Beast, and all them. That was X-Men Blue, and then they had X-Men Gold.
Mark McGrath saying Torrent feels a lot like the Silencer. I've never read the Silencer, but I guess you guys do like Silencer as a villain. She was on Arrow too. They brought her in.
Silencer wasn't a villain.
On DC?
Mm-hmm. No, she was a hero.
Well, maybe the comics, but not on Arrow. On Arrow, she was a villain.
Yeah. Don't trust CW. CW is
That's true. Yeah, come on.
CW is the Bible. What are you talking about?
If they're going by CW, then Huntress is a villain. Like, come on.
You would probably like Silencer. It was one of the New Age of Hero books.
Was it like
okay.
Was it another miniseries?
Yeah,
well, it was
all of the New Age of Hero series are miniseries.
It was
except for Terrifics.
Another victim of Didio.
Yeah.
All the New Age, man. That was such a good. Oh man, that was such a good time in DC.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, Jeff Johns bringing back the classic DC characters. You had the best Superman. Batman was doing decent. But then you had all these New Age. You had 8. Was it 8? Yeah, 8.
I think it was 8. Yeah, I think so.
New Age books, and all of them were at least solid. Like there was not a bad one in the bunch, but a few of them were really good.
Sideways, I remember people go crazy for Sideways. Like he shows up in like 3 panels of a mini series, and people are like, "Oh, it's Sideways!" I'm like, guys, what's the big deal?
What did Damien use it for? Just a teleport monkey.
Yeah.
That's all he's good for.
But people went crazy for it. So
yeah, I wish DC would bring that. Well, I'm not buying DC anymore anyway, but
yeah,
and all those, man, the Terrifics,
yeah, that was the one that lasted the longest, I think.
Damage,
yeah.
Oh man,
so
Mortal Men. Getting chills. Sorry.
Zach, let's go to number 1.
Okay. You don't want to hit the number 2s that we had in the chat? Tehillim's getting Gargoyles still. Tehillim, how is Gargoyles going? I stopped picking up Gargoyles after issue number 2 or 3. So I hope you're liking it.
Gargoyles, unless you watched the all 3 seasons, you're not going to remember. And plus, they had comic books in between the animated cartoons. This is like the second time they had third. And
then Mark McGrath, he says he's getting Ambassadors number 3. So right on, Mark. Right on. All right.
So you learned that Bendis sells way better in back issues than Tomasi.
Hey, more Tomasi books for us. That's how I see it. All right. Counting down.
That's because Tomasi. Never mind.
Go for it.
There's a lot more. I mean, more people bought the Tomasi books.
Right? Okay.
Like the Bendis didn't sell, so now back issues is a thing.
But he says that the Bendis back issues are selling better. They're not just sitting in the back issue bins. So, all right. Anyway, counting down. So my number 5 book was Detective Comics number 1071. Number 4 is Clobberin' Time number 2. My number 3 is the one-shot Guardians of the Galaxy Bane of Blastar number 1. My number 2 book is Ambassadors number 3 by Mark Miller. And my number 1 book, it's been brought up several times tonight, it is Green Arrow number 1 from Josh Williamson and Sean Isaac. I have been looking forward to this for a while now. I am really excited. I like Green Arrow a lot. He's probably one of my favorite DC heroes, which is funny that the like really conservative guy likes one of the lefty leaning heroes the most. But yeah, no, I like Ollie. I like all of his supporting cast. I'm really excited. Joshua Williamson, he's done really good. He's got a track record at DC. He did one of the longest runs of the Flash that I know of that was like consistently good. He had a really good Robin series last year until it got canceled to make way for Tim Drake's, which I'm not going to harp on. He's rocking Superman right now. He's got a Batman Robin series coming out later this year. So I have really high hopes for his Green Arrow book. I'm hoping it does well. Sean Isaac said on Twitter, this was about a month or two ago. Right now, they currently only have an order for 6 issues. But if people buy it enough and if it sells enough, they will be doing more. They will turn it, into an ongoing. So I'm hoping that enough people get into this and get excited about it and hype it up. We know DC is terrible about advertising their good books. Cough, cough, Flash. But yeah, Sean Isaac's art looks amazing. I'm excited to see what Josh Williamson has in store. This cover, if you've seen the whole picture, it has a bunch of like Green Arrow's supporting cast and villains in the background behind him. He's bringing back characters like Mia Dearden. We talked about, Cheshire and Leanne. Arrowette, I think, was one of the characters that that was seen. So I'm really looking forward to see what. Oh, seriously? Oh, that's cool, Cat. That's cool, Evil Black Cat. He says Green Arrow was announced for 12 issues as of yesterday. Right on. Okay, well, that's double. So hopefully they keep it up. Hopefully, I have faith in Joshua Williamson's writing right now, especially seeing how he's handled Superman so far. I have a lot of faith in him as far as Green Arrow goes. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I really liked the Kevin Smith Phil Hester run. That's probably my favorite one. I know everyone says the Mike Grell run is the best, but for me, the Smith and Hester run is my favorite.
Yeah, Mark Greg bringing up saying he didn't like Shadow War or Dark Crisis.
So Shadow War, I never read all of the stuff. I did read, I did like, but with Dark Crisis, here's what I know about Dark Crisis. Joshua Williamson was handling that entire event almost single-handedly, if not entirely single. Like he was not getting help or support from any other writers, from what I hear. So I don't know if I can really blame him for that, because if you're juggling a huge event just by yourself, it's not gonna succeed. It's not gonna be like 100% successful.
Yeah, because he was writing Robin, and then it crossed over with Batman, and
that went into Shadow War.
Yeah, Shadow War.
Yeah.
Dark Crisis was terrible all over, and it wasn't just Josh Williamson in Dark Crisis. He had other people on it too. I think wasn't Jeff Johns included in that?
I don't think. No, Jeff Johns did the Flashpoint. He did that Flashpoint, that 5-issue miniseries on Flashpoint that he did with Tim Seeley and Jeremy Adams.
Well, I'll just say this: if he's only writing one story at a time, he's doing 2 titles, Superman and Green Arrow.
Yep.
If he's just doing that at the same company, I think he'll be fine. Versus trying to write like 3 books.
Well, he is going to be writing 3 once his Batman and Robin starts up in the summer.
But I thought Batman and Robin's only supposed to be like a 1-shot or something like that.
I don't think it's a new number 1, but I don't know if it's a 1-shot.
I don't know. Yeah. Like I said, it's if these guys are allowed to write what they want to write without having to pertain to what someone else did in their other previous version, like I said, this is where I like. As much as people hate Bendis for deconstructing, sometimes it's better to deconstruct if somebody really messes up the character before you, and as long as you're not going to connect it to something else, like they just retconned Heroes of Crisis again. They just keep doing that because of how bad that there was with Tom King.
Yeah,
like I said, I'd rather them just do a separate continuity, like what Mark Waid's been doing with his World's Finest. It's not set in the current DCU.
It's set in the past. Yeah.
It's in the past, but I mean, it's still respectful to what was going on at the time, but it's not really changing anything.
Right. Mark says Williamson's a nice guy, knows his continuity, and is super enthusiastic, but his writing can be hit or miss. Honestly, as long as he knows his continuity, like that's the key thing that I see highlighted there that I look for is like just Does he know the continuity? Is he going to mess with it? If he's not, listen, not every writer is going to hit 100 home runs 100% of the time.
So,
Even Frank Miller had stuff. I'm sure Ash will agree that Frank Miller wrote something somewhere that was lackluster. So,
Mark, I'll just say this: you're saying he's hit or miss, then he's perfect for Green Arrow.
yeah. You did it again.
Superman is a little frustrating, but not as frustrating as reading Kennedy's. I'll just say this: I want to see more Clark Kent than I do want to see Superman all the time. I want to have a balance of both.
I like both. I like Williamson's Superman, and I like Kennedy's Superman, just not enough to still be buying it.
Yeah.
Maybe if it wasn't an anthology anymore and it was still just Philip Kennedy Johnson, maybe, but now it's an anthology. So
anything else to say on this?
Nope. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully enough of y'all pick it up and tell your friends if it's good. I know Breen picked it up, which sounds to me like an endorsement because Breen barely picks up anything. But yeah, I actually do have to be bouncing. I'll be over on England Team's channel. Tonight is the last Tuesday night that we know of the Marvel RPG game. So next week I probably won't have to rush up the door. No, it's just It's just the final. It's the conclusion of this story that we're in. It was only supposed to be like 5 or 6 nights. I think we might do one in the future if he gets enough viewers. I don't know if it's linked.
Guys, so when you go there to throw some post the Rose emoji con in the comment section because it's basically a funeral. You're not going to see that ever again.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe it'll be a different night. I don't know. But no, that's where I'm going to go before I leave because I know you're going to do that thing where you look at the hardcovers and the trades. Exterminators, the trade for that comes out this week. Leah Williams.
I know.
That's all I'm saying.
Greatness bundled into one.
Yep. All that bodacious, beautiful X-women all in one book. Have a ball, guys.
Beautiful women. And then you go to Leah Thompson. I'm currently on Action Comics, and they just nerfed her.
Well, they edited her. Yeah, they heavily censored her, I think, with the editorial. But
free the Leah. That's what I say. Hashtag free Leah.
Hashtag free the Leah. I like it. Bye, guys. I will see y'all later. Y'all take it easy. Ash, RDV, been a pleasure. Y'all take it easy, guys.
Later. All right. So there's only 2 of us because the cool kids stay to the end. Still there? All right. By myself again. All right. My number 2 for tonight is going to be it's we already did number 2. So let's count down from number 5 to 1. My number 5 was Detective Comics. Number 4, Doctor Strange. Number 3, Green Arrow. My number 2 was Torrent. And my number 1 for this week, I gotta scroll down a little bit, is Venom, Lethal Protector. I've been enjoying this series. This is basically we got David Michelinie back for another round, which is kind of cool because we already had the 5-issue miniseries. That's why it's called Venom Lethal Protector. But guys, Volume 2, Issue 2. It's weird. So we have him going against Dr. Doom in this series, but also Silver Sable is getting involved. Whenever we can return to basically bringing Silver Sable in, is always fun for me because she's a character I don't think she's the last time I think I saw her was in one of the bad Spider-Man books. There's been a lot. I think that was when he was dating Mockingbird. Ugh, gross. I didn't want to think about it anymore. Yeah, and then you got Farid Karami doing the art on here. Like I said, I've been enjoying this series. It's been one of my go-to series whenever David Michelinie does something. I'm curious to go back, and I've been reading through the Iron Man books since the beginning, since Tales of Suspense, and I'm curious to see how good it is because Marani always talks about in the later Iron Man books he had David Michelinie writing it, and she liked it. I know Ash has said he wasn't that great of a writer. So I'm curious because maybe I'll be someone in the between that. Maybe I'll agree with more with Ash, or maybe I'll agree more with Marania. But enough about that. Though we're talking about Venom. Venom being a villain again, going around eating criminals' heads. I do, as much as I love Kate's Venom, I do like Venom when he was still kind of like wanted by the law, and people were trying to basically attack him. Yeah, and like I said, I do love the throwback issues like these. When it comes to Marvel, I always go for the throwback writers. I go for Peter David. I go for David Michelin. I go for writers like Paul Davis. Paul Davis, Paul Levitz. I combine Paul Levitz, and it was working over on Avengers War Across Time. I guess I'm just enjoying all the Chris Claremont, who just did Extreme X-Men. I love when you actually have good writers come and actually write stuff and I don't look at sales. I'm just happy to get the book, but I would be shocked if these old-time writers are not selling as more than the new crap that's coming out by these shitty writers in Marvel. I mean, it's when you have Jeff Johns and Mark Waid over in DC, and if they're not outselling like people like Megan Fitzmartin or Tini Howard, that's a sad day for comics. Because somebody's been taught or been conditioned to say, I'm done with Marvel and DC, so they don't buy the books at all. But I don't know. Anyone else picking this up on their list at all? I didn't see anybody as far as their number ones. I hope we read them off or not. Go look. Tehilm, what was your number one? Let's scroll back up. Trying to find your comment. Let's see here. You guys post your number one so far up. Undead Quinn said he has Will Tree for his number one book. I can't find your comment for Tehilm. You'll have to remind me what it is in the chat below. Yeah, overall. Ash, I can't hear you. I think you stepped away. So we're just gonna be suspense. We will not know what your number one book is this week. So let's go to trades. Hopefully my internet doesn't crash. And let's go. Usually I have someone to bounce off so I can distract you guys while I'm doing stuff. All right. Let's go this instead. All right. Trades out this week. Ash was never son. Ash just never sounded better. Oh, dude. So I'm already seeing some cool stuff right here, other than Exterminators. And all you guys don't really like it. I know Skip and Zach and a few other of us like it, but it's whatever you guys want to decide. You don't want to be cool. I am really looking at this. So as far as the Booster Gold Volume 1 that's up on the screen there, the New 52 pickup trade. Jeff Johns, man. Dan Jurgens. I remember reading the first issue, and I just never went back and got it because I forgot about it. And I was kind of like getting out of comic books at the time when New 52 started. But definitely go back and look at it. What else we got here? Batman and Robin. Volume 1. Batman Reborn. It's Grant Morrison. So we got, Andy Kubert on there and Frank Wiley and Phil Tan. All right. Ooh, the Creature Commandos. That looks kind of cool. What else we got here? We got the Mighty Thor Epic Collection. Even Immortal Can Die. What's Walt Simonson? So there's some really cool trades going on here. I think we're coming out. Epic Collections, if you don't already own these issues, is probably the best way to collect, especially if you're a new reader. You don't want to try to search down all the individual floppy issues. I would recommend getting these, but I would go to in-stock trades, so you're not paying like $50 for them. You can pay like probably $25. There we go. Brian Hitch and Mark Millar is Fantastic Four. have to check that out. I think that's maybe that is current. I thought they wrote Ultimate. Cosmic Ghost Rider by Donny Cates. There you go. That's the better version than what's out there, because right now is Stephanie Phillips is doing the butchered version. We're seeing Mark McGrath. The Flash book writers have never been solid, or actually have been solid. He says. David Mars, Micheline DeMatteis, except Claremont. Sadly, the Gambit book was awful. I disagree. I really enjoyed it. But like I said, that's what we take the risk when we come to buy new books. Not everybody basically will like everything. I left out. I got my money's worth. Unfortunately, you didn't. Where is Zach? Says Rhaegar. Well, yeah, he kind of left. He saw you were coming, and he said he had to leave. He's over on I Love Comics, where they're playing an RPG game. Apparently, the final one. So, go in the chat over there after we're done here, and you guys can just throw some roses, emoji cons, and maybe some caskets. It doesn't sound like they're going to be doing some more. From what Zach was saying. This is the end of their game. Maybe they will. That's probably where Marania went to as well. What we got here? Deadpool and Cable Omnibus.
I'm back.
Yeah, you are. We're almost done with the trades.
Sorry, man. I had to. My buddy needed my help. I had to step away. I put it in the chat, but
yeah, I saw that. But I thought you were just being facetious.
Oh,
compared to what Breen had said, you're like,
oh no. Yeah, sorry.
Legends of the DC Universe, Carmine Infantino.
How is it you guys couldn't guess my number one?
Well, your number one was probably
what book could it possibly be?
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
your powers of deduction are leaving a little bit wanted here.
If it wasn't Torrent, it's gonna be Ambassadors.
Yeah, well, I said I'm getting a Mark Millar book.
Yeah.
There's only one book missing. Anyways, yeah, so it's Ambassadors is my number one.
I kind of looked the chat up like, for you to discover.
And by the way, I wanted to say, so I was listening in while I was away.
Oh crap!
I never said that Michelini is a bad writer.
No, you said he's a mid writer back then, compared to
he was mid for the era.
Yes, I never said.
Yeah, but again, I say mid is a good thing. Like mid is meaning it's a passing grade.
Yes.
And my favorite Spider-Man was the David Michelini Amazing Spider-Man. So he's fine when he's doing good. He also wrote Iron Man, which I didn't think he was as good at, but I would take David Michelini on an ongoing comic today. Ongoing comics are extremely hard to write well for a period of time, and David Michelini did it for decades. So yeah. Anyways, just wanted to say that.
No, I explained that at the beginning of the stream too. I had said
I didn't want you slandering me behind my back.
I don't slander you behind your back. I slander you in front of your back. Or the back of your front. Who knows?
That's the last thing we need is more ammunition for Tehillim and Black Cat, who have a thing against me.
They don't have a thing against you. That's just your ego.
I'm making a lot of enemies on here.
I'm looking at this. It looks cool. Legends of the DC Universe, Carmine Infantino. Collects basically American Comics, All American Comics 95, All Star Comics number 40, Comic Cavalcade, 28, Danger Trail 1 through 4, DC Comics Presents 73, DC Special number 1, Detective Comics 327 and 332, Flash Comics 86, 90, 92, House of Mystery. Like, dude, everything I'm reading off of this is just like these are awesome, and it's just like Gardner Fox in here too. It's like I love this. So Strange Adventures 205. We got Superman's girlfriend Lois Lane. Adventures of Rex the Wonder Dog, The Brave and the Bold 49. Wow. Eric Bree says they don't have a thing against you. They have lots of things against you.
Oh damn.
Yeah, currently mid, I guess. Well, for me, mid's never meant bad for me, even in this kind of sense today. Mid just means like I enjoyed it, but I couldn't enjoy it as some of the other books that have come out. Like but it's not like horrible, like Teeny Howard's Catwoman. That's an F, or I guess you'd say like between the 5 stars, that's like a star and a half, maybe a half star. Some of those books, but yeah, like I said, a lot of books today I've read are I mean, even some of the best ones I've read, they're like 3 or 4s. It's very rarely where I find a 5-star where I actually like.
Oh, and also Zach's not here anymore, but he mentioned something about Frank Miller. Like even Ash would admit Frank Miller wrote something, whatever, mediocre. Nope. During his prime, before he went off to Hollywood and got destroyed his brain with alcohol and stuff, but in his prime, Frank Miller wrote nothing but gold. That's one of the reasons why Frank Miller is the legend that he is.
Yeah, I gotta ask Brain. Brain, are you reading this, or I gotta pick this up at all? You probably have a lot of these issues in here.
Yeah, these are in his couch.
This book coming out, not every day you see a collection like this coming out, and especially for DC.
I don't know, Joe. I don't know Carmine Infantino for the name, but this is absolutely before my era.
Yeah. Well, he was the artist. He worked on Fantastic Four. He worked on a lot of these books here, the DC books. This is only the DC version, obviously. So, like I said, I kind of want to read something. Like I said, this is a great way to get a lot of older DC books that you may not have access to, unless you go through Comixology or have money, serious money. Where some of these might be in the dollar bins too. Like the fact that they're all collected in this, and it's 408 pages for $50. Now, In Stock Trades probably has it much cheaper than this, which I'd still recommend. If your shop doesn't have it this Wednesday, don't be your luck out. Just basically pick it up at InStockTrades.com or whatever the other website is. I can't remember what the competitor is called. Yeah. Brian's saying I do have most of the stories, but I would pick this up otherwise. Infantino who got fired to make room for Jeanette Kahn. Yeah.
Tehelim says Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns ain't gold. I thought Zach had the hot takes. Oh, jeez. Oh, my God. Like one of the all-time greatest comics ever put to print. Okay.
All right. Mark McGrath saying Infantino did a lot of work, but he was synonymous with the Flash. Like I said, whenever I can find like stuff like Western comics or like Strange Avengers, some early ones, Secret Hearts. That sounds like a Gary Conway book. Or Gil Kane.
Secret Hearts. That sounds like a book that Breen would collect.
Exactly. Stuff like Mystery in Space. Like I said, Comic Cavalcade. I've seen some of these collected hardcovers at my shop. Never had any interest, but I mean, like I said, it's interesting to see. You get some all-star comics, all American comics. Like I said, Brave and the Bold. Finding these, like I said, Adventures of Rex the Wonder Dog. Never heard of it.
That's a book I would get.
Yeah, it's a dog. It's got a dog in it.
Got a dog in it.
That issue, the dog dies. Damn it!
Oh,
Infantino's last great act as Eric, or as EIC was editor in chief. I think it meant Eric himself. I was actually typing his name. Was first Superman Spider-Man crossover.
Oh.
So nice. Yeah, so I was looking at it, I was like, oh, this looks kind of cool. Like, characters, you get Elongated Man Flash, and another Flash, Barry and Jay, Dead Man, Fiddler, Iris West, Kid Flash, Turtle Man, character I've seen in a while, Thinker. Yeah, look at these, all these old books. Alan Scott, Green Lantern. Some Wonder Woman stuff you're going to hear. Like I said, picking up DC Special #1 would be kind of cool to have in your collection. Yeah, Secret Hearts. Yeah, it is a romance thing. 49th to 1971. Brave and the Bold, Strange Spirits. So, like I said, this is a great way to introduce yourself to a lot of older books you may have not heard of, and then getting to see some Gardner Fox. I like Gardner Fox's writing, so I'm always happy to see some more Gardner Fox stuff. What we got here? Right. Let's see here.
Did you already cover the Fantastic Four omnibus?
I looked at it. Didn't I mean I scrolled past it. Didn't I talked about it? But I didn't go into it. Is that 616 or is that 1610?
That's 616. So this
I wasn't
is
sure
that's
what
the
it was.
that's the Fantastic Four that came just before Jonathan Hickman's. Mark Millar was the writer, and Brian Hitch was the artist.
Okay.
So it's good artist writer pairing. I've always wanted to read this. I'm not the hugest Fantastic Four guy, but Jonathan Hickman changed that. I really love this run. I love Mark Millar. I'd love to see what he did. I don't hear a ton of people talk about this, but I imagine it's got to be pretty good. There's a reason why Mark Millar got super popular.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Superman Adventures
collects everything in one book.
Yeah.
No, he got popular at Marvel.
I know. We also got here Brian Hitch doing some work in here too as well.
Yeah, he's the.
Is he the main artist or is he this?
Mm-hmm.
Might be one. Yeah, Silvestri doing a cover, variant cover. So that's right here. Yep. So you're getting quite, thing. As long as it's my problem is that when they start doing stuff like this, and then I like self-contained stories. So but the Fantastic Four kind of was back then. My only problem is this has the turkey one, Thanksgiving one cover everybody likes. And they collects Marvel 1985. All right, I'll have to take a look at it, see if it's there. $100 though. I probably will get off in-stock trades. $100.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. This is something you get on in-stock trades. It'll be like $60 there. How many pages is it though? It's probably like 1,000 pages.
784 pages.
Oh, okay. Forgot Marvel
It's
doesn't do the
1,000.
little big.
No.
I forgot Marvel doesn't do the gigantic. But I mean, it's the entire Miller run. I can't vouch for it. I've never read it. I'm just.
So Breen's saying it was dreadful. Wasn't that great?
No, that means it's really good.
If you want to take it that way, sure. I do the Rob sometimes on Extreme Movie Show. I hated it. I loved it. So I know I kind of know when I'm gonna like something. Is it anyone says I do enjoy Frank Miller, Daredevil over his Dark Knight Batman.
Oh, his Daredevil was amazing. I mean,
I know it's I'm kind of
anything you pick in that time and say this was his best, I go okay, because he didn't write anything but gold. So if you just say I like this gold better than this gold, I go sure. It's not one is good and one is bad, and I can disagree.
My thing is he wrote his Batman Year One. I wanted him to continue, just keep writing instead of doing those 4 issues. Just keep going, man. And it's kind of okay, he just does that and he's gone. And then he comes back with a Dark Knight Returns. It's he wrote the beginning of Batman and the end of Batman. Like I said, I do like those. I recommend. I do like those issues. Those story arcs. I never read the next 2 volumes of the Dark Knight Returns. I only read the one with him with the mutants and then him with the Joker. I didn't read whatever the following series were.
Well, there's Dark Knight Strikes Again. That's the second one. And then there's Dark Knight 3, The Master Race, which I still haven't read. Because that one he only co-wrote. Because I think it's got what's that guy's name that I'm not even necessarily a big fan of. He's a big DC writer.
Thank you for the clarification, because I wasn't reading them back then, so I don't know which one came out before the other one. I just picked them up off the shelf and read them. So he says Dark Knight. Evil Black says Dark Knight Returns came before Batman Year One. So, like I said, I enjoyed both of them. I just wished he would have wrote more Batman.
Yes, thank you, Black Cat. Brian Azzarello.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking of. I need to read Master Race again, or not again, for the first time sometime.
Yeah, so this collects Fantastic Four, some books from like as far as Marvel 1980 Live from 1 through 6, and then it has Fantastic Fours from 2009, and then it has the 1998 run. Okay, 554 through 569. Like I said, I'm slowly dabbling into books. I kind of just glance where it had no interest for me. We've been doing since we've been reading on the channel, reading the Fantastic Four stuff. We kind of seeing why people like that stuff version, the Kirby stuff, Stan Lee, versus some of the other stuff. You know? But let's see what else is here. So yeah, we talked a little bit about the Thor. There's a Creature Commandos coming out as well. There's your Batman and Robin, Grant Morrison. You know, Batman and Son. So, Donny Cates, Cosmic Rider, Ghost Rider.
That is surprisingly fun. I picked that up years ago on a Comixology sale.
Yeah.
It was like back in the day when Comixology would you could stack sales. So it was already on sale. And then Marvel had a special sale, like buy one, get one free. And so the trades were like $2.50. And it was like buy one, get one free. So I was like, oh, so I picked that up with, I think I got like the first Venom trade. And this was before I really knew Donny Cates, but I was like, yeah, everyone's talking about him. And, I wanted to try him out. And I was like, I don't really care about Cosmic Ghost Rider. It seems really cheesy and dumb, but it's $2.50, whatever. And then ended up reading it and was like, had a blast. It's kind of what you wish Deadpool was. When I read it, I was like, oh man, this is what Deadpool should be like. In fact, I lamented when I found out.
Yep.
Spoiler alert, everyone. All right. Cosmic Ghost Rider is Punisher. I was like, you made him Punisher? Why did you make him Deadpool? It could have been better. But it's got this like wackiness to it that at the beginning it was kind of a turnoff, but by the end of the story, I had gotten used to it, and it has like heart, like the way it ended, like he stuck the landing. So, anyways.
Yep. Do you see this is coming out? Book 1 release again?
Yep.
Yeah, when they announced the movie, I was expecting this to be released again. I didn't realize it was going to be book 1. I thought they released actually like an omnibus, but they're only doing 1 through 12.
I think that's all Warren Ellis and Brian Hitch wrote.
This is Phil Jimenez doing some penciling here. Remember, it was just 27 issues, though. That's what I was confused why they're only doing.
No, you're thinking of Planetary.
Oh, as well. Yeah, I am thinking of Planetary. My bad. It's Authority.
Yeah, this is Authority.
Yeah, but still, 30.
It's 408 pages. This is not a small book.
No, for $30, and then you're going to in-stock trades closer to 15, 16 around there. Yeah, for 408 pages. Like I said. If you've never read this, you want to start taking a stab at it, I recommend it. You got Midnighter and Apollo before the gay couple, but it wasn't like dear God, like flamboyantly gay. Remember, if I remember correctly, as far as today, how they do gay characters, who that's all they are. Is this I'm gay, I am Alex. Brian Hitch is a good artist, and of course we all know that Warren Ellis is a good writer too, and we also have Phil Jimenez on here too as well, and Andy Lanning. So I said, like, it's you got Authority ruling the world, and a story from Wildstorm. Yep, celebration of 25 years. So I don't know. I said, I forgot who it was. I think it's Jim Sorensen or Undead Quinn. It said they were really into the Authority. It might be Jim Sorensen, because I know he likes Gen 13 as well. Yeah, I'm trying to remember who it was. It always shows up to the auction over on East channel. So I don't know. I said it looks kind of cool. Is authority pay allegiance or get your head kicked in? It's whether they're up against an invasion from an alternate Earth or an international terrorist who is laying waste to major cities or hostile alien intelligence who calls themselves God. The authority are ready for action. So cool.
This is on my to read list.
Mine too. I've just been kind of like trying to make time. I've been going through reading the Superman Triangle years, going through that. It's basically like 10 years worth of comics of multiple titles. Trying to see what else. I think that's gonna be about it for this because everything else on my as far as for stuff coming out this week, not really that good.
I will say, if you scroll down just a little bit, I know this is not really a manga channel.
I knew you're gonna go.
I have gotten into Fire Force, the anime, and it's really pretty good. And it's not at all what I had thought it was going to be like. I thought it was going to be an anime about firefighters, which it kind of is.
Supernatural.
But it's really Fire Force. The world has firefighters, but Fire Force is different than firefighters. They're actually kind of like superhero equivalents, and they don't fight fires. They fight these things called infernals, because in this world, people just spontaneously combust and become infernals, which are basically like fire demons, and then the Fire Force has to put them down. And the show just starts off kind of real simple with the main character joining the Fire Force. He's like a new recruit, and as it goes on, it starts to become this mystery of like, well, why are people turning into infernals? Like, there's this mystery. No one knows why. It just happens. And this vast conspiracy starts to unfold of like who's like behind it and things like that. And there's a very diverse cast. And I don't say that in the political, like the modern politically correct sense, but a diverse cast of characters with all the unique personalities and so forth. That makes any good team book. If you like team superhero books, that makes them interesting. This has that same thing to it.
Well, they're also on volume 32, which is really good for a manga series.
So I like to point books like this out because I know a lot of times, like if you're a Western comic book fan, you're just like, whatever. You're either into manga or you're not, typically. And if you're not into it, you typically tend to resist it, which I understand. But sometimes the gateway can be books that kind of cross over, that kind of give you that same feeling that you get from your Western comic books that you like, especially if you're into superhero books.
I can understand some people, older readers, not really getting into mangas. It's the fact that it's the reading style. You got to read from right to left. It takes a while to get used to it.
For sure, that is something to get used to. And you may not even have to get into the manga. You could just check out the anime if you want. I'm considering checking out the manga simply because I'm liking the anime so much that I'm reaching the end of where the anime is. I'm like, I want to keep going, and I can't. So I'm like,
I did that with Tokyo Revengers, and I finished the whole entire manga before the show even finished. So I was like, the problem with when you read ahead, you're like, and you go to watch the anime, it's like it's exact. They're faithful adaptations of the actual manga. So it's like you already know what's going to happen. It's just like I'm like, damn it, Aaron. It's like it's just kind of boring to me.
No, I don't mind that. That's the reason I actually like. Yeah. I mean, it's the whole reason I cared to even watch the Batman Year One animated. Like, I know how the story goes. I just wanted to see how it would be executed animated. I didn't, and if they would have changed it, I would have been pissed.
Well, I don't think it was. I can't remember. Did they change anything on it?
Nothing major. They changed like little tidbits, but
my thing is with manga, that's like the anime is literally they just translated to perfectly. So it's kind of like I've already read this. I want to read the next part of the manga At this point, it's like because sometimes the mangas are so like Mike. If you were reading Tokyo Revenger, I was so far ahead of the anime because I have to take breaks and you have to wait a while. I was just like, dude, that's so long time ago. It's like me trying to watch the anime. It's like holy crap, they're that far back. I don't know. It's just it's always a thing I've personally had to deal with. It's probably an OCD thing of mine. But
anyways, it's just something worth mentioning. Maybe there's someone out there who's like, oh, maybe I'll try that. Like I said, even if you're not interested in reading the manga, I'm only seeing the anime. I like the anime, but I like it enough that I'm kind of curious. And oftentimes, while the mangas and animes typically are pretty accurate, like you're saying, a lot of time there's more detail in the manga.
Sometimes,
like you know, said, the animes kind of crunch it down and streamline it more.
I kind of want to read My Hero Academia. Like, want to start beginning and read through that.
Me too.
Because I've been hearing, like, especially this past season this ended, there was some differences it did in the manga versus the anime, which hardly is like I said. A lot of times I read the mangas and the animes are just basically just clones of the mangas. They just they got voice acting and they're animated, so you're getting the exact same story. But my only thing is now is I've been reading more mangas because the fact that I can't trust certain translators to translate it into English perfectly. You know, like you've been seeing that some of these people who get hold of the animes or the translation, the English versus the mangas, and you'll find out it's like they're changing what they're saying because and I guess, and I don't know if there's some kind of agenda for some of these writers. I know there was a female manga writer that was doing this, but not writer. She basically was like, I forget what book it was, but it was a big conspiracy thing going on or controversy. It was at end of last year or beginning of this year, and then she was like, yeah, people were complaining because this person, she was doing the translation for the English version, and she was just changing the message.
Wow. Yeah, that's.
We saw. I think we saw that with My Hero Academia. One of the books that people had problems with. They were translating into English because they don't know how to translate these words and make the correct sentence. I guess there's like a dialogue barrier or something. I don't know. Tehillia might know. Like he's like really into manga. it's like I used to like when I was like 16, 17. Dude, I was reading more manga than I was reading anime or reading comics. Manga was just like, dude, you find your niche and there you go. Like, I love the fighting ones. People were like, oh, you like Dragon Ball Z? I was just like, the mangas were fun, The shows were frustrating because it's like, really? He's gonna power up for 20 minutes? Well, actually 10 minutes, but there's a 5-minute commercial in between. And then it's like, oh, we're at the end of this. Well, Goku finished powering up by the next episode. Find out next week.
The other thing is, I mean, aside from what you're talking about, where you're getting the corruption, manga. If you're a person who's interested in a more accurate story, manga, especially if you watch dubbed, and because I noticed Black Cat's like joined the subtitle master race, which the hell I say. Unless it's Attack on Titan, that dub is garbage. You got to watch Attack on Titan.
I watched subtitle for Dragon Ball Z. I did that. I originally was doing the English Funimation until I realized how much of a douchebag Chris Schimmel is, or whatever Sean Schimmel and the rest of them. The Monica Dial, all that stuff. What they did with the whole Vic thing. I was like, dude. So then I started watching it with the English subbed, and I gotta say, it's a lot more entertaining. All the Japanese like voice actors, how they yell and stuff. It's like I said, it's a lot more entertaining,
voice acting has gotten a lot better in over the times. Like back in my early day, like in the late 80s and 90s, watching anime, like it was always these companies that had like no money, like pulling this stuff and then dubbing and just bad voice acting. But it's really gotten a lot better. Yeah. So I don't mind anymore. I'll prefer to usually watch dubbed unless, like I said, unless it's a bad, because the Japanese, the way that they do animation, they do a thing called ADR, which is a additional dialogue recording. Unlike Western animation, like a Disney movie, the animators animate like you act out the voice lines, and then the animators animate to it. So if you
Yeah.
watch a Disney movie, the character's mouths like move, but in Japan, the animation comes first, and then the voiceovers come second. So since they're already doing that in the original Japanese, when you dub it in English, there's not such a disconnect as it would be, say, if you translated like a Disney movie into a foreign language. It just wouldn't, I hope that makes sense. So I don't have as much of a problem as long as you get good.
Yeah.
But where I was going with it is,
Yeah.
on the mangas, when you get the translations, the thing is, when you translate, you still have to kind of fit, like you have a certain amount of space. If a character's talking, there's only a certain amount of time that they can mouth the words, and then you have to cut over. So translating an anime can be sometimes difficult because it's not about just being accurate. It's also about, I need to communicate what's they're saying, but keep it in the same like split second that they're on screen saying it. And sometimes they have to manipulate it because of that, it wouldn't work. But in the manga, you don't have to worry about that because it's a still page. You can write everything that they're saying, and the translation can be more accurate.
Yeah, I gotta ask those because you're the big Comixology buff. Manga, I know you've bought manga through Comixology, right?
Sometimes, like I bought Battle Angel Alita.
Yeah.
But
so when you go to read it panel by panel, does it go like from the right to the
Nope.
left? It doesn't.
Oh, it goes. It doesn't. You can't do the zoomed in thing.
Would you?
That would be so great, but no. But the Japanese, they don't like that.
No.
You'll strictly see like on the thing, like this is not available due to publisher or whatever.
I thought
So you have to see the whole page.
I was wondering like I was like, man, if I do a reading of the manga, like I wonder like if it would actually do that, because like I said, we read a lot of comic books on this channel.
However,
I wouldn't be opposed to reading manga.
However, I think Comixology has adapted this, and I know there's other like online like manga sites that do this.
Yeah.
And this is the way I like to do it, is I think they call it like web mode. They might have different names, but instead of like flipping the page left to right or right to left, it's like actually scrolling. And it works really well. So you're just basically scrolling top to bottom. And so you just with your mouse wheel, or if you're on a touch device like your phone, you can just drag from the bottom up, and you're just constantly, as you read, as you get to the bottom of the page, it just go down to the next, and you're never going left to right. You're just forever going down, and it works really well. You still have to remember with manga though to start on the top right corner instead of the top left corner. That's the hardest page. Flipping the pages in the right order is not the difficult. It's training your mind, because everyone goes, but Ash, it's so simple. Like, and you're right, it is simple, but you still have like muscle memory. And when you're reading, you want to get, at least for me, like I want to get lost in the story. I don't want to have to think about what I'm doing. So if I have to like constantly be like, okay, I have to go to this frame next. Okay, this frame, I'm not allowing myself to get immersed. Like I have to have my body do it subconsciously, where I don't even have to think about it when I'm reading the right panel. And when I read Western comics, I can do that no problem. But when I'm reading mangas, like I have to like force myself, because it's not the natural way. And I probably would get used to it. If I was to heal him, it's probably like, for him, it's no big deal. But
I think we might have to see him come on and start a new segment where we just do a review mangas. manga of the week.
Yeah.
Like I said, I want to get back into the manga scene. I've been slowly dabbling in. I do admit that some of the mangas I do pick up in physical format, but I do still like the online format. So like for me, webtoons, like if you read something, it's a scroller. I can just scroll from down, and I kind of like that. Like my manga collection, I had to stop because I had just way too many mangas, and I'm a hoarder. It comes to mangas.
Yeah, no, dude, I've seriously seen mangas.
I don't want to get rid of them.
Just walls of bookshelves.
So if I could get mangas on digital, pay from that way, get a bundle, and just read them there. And I'd rather have a external hard drive just full of mangas versus having like 5 bookshelves and only one of them is one manga. That's why I'm not reading One Piece. One Piece would be forever, man. Can you imagine my whole shelf would just be not even one shelf, it'd be like 12 shelves. or more. 2 bookcase.
Well, I don't advocate for it, but the pirate community for manga is even bigger than the comic community. So
isn't that funny? Manga's better than comics, but that's why everybody pirates it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is weird.
But if you know what Viz, who makes quite a bit, they're one of the big publishers, Viz Media, their app, they have a membership. It's $1.99 a month, and you have access to their entire catalog. Like I have no problem paying $1.99 a month to.
My thing is that like I am very picky with manga as I am with comic books too. So it's like I want to see what your library is. What book titles you have first, you know, because I'd hate to like go in there and be like, yeah, I read this and like I'm the person probably read like I read fast, so I would probably read all these mangas and then I'd cancel within like the next month.
Oh, you cancel in a month? That's
I know, but like I said, like, and sometimes, well, it depends if I find a manga in there. You said.
And here's the other thing: what Viz does. I haven't checked in a while, so things could have changed. But they had it last time I checked. The first 3 chapters and the most recent 3 chapters are free, so you don't even need to pay the $1.99.
So yeah, I like.
So you can just go in and read, like, find a manga, go, check out the couple of chapters, see if it catches my attention. Then pay nothing. But if you want to keep reading, then you can pay the $1.99. Or if you're completely caught up, you can pay nothing and just constantly read the newest 3 chapters.
Yeah, I said I read a lot of Shonen Jump comic books, or not comic book, manga back in the day. I read those. I read Tokyo.
Well, Shonen Jump is Viz. So
is it?
Like
okay.
Yeah.
I thought they're separate. Okay.
Nope.
That's good.
They're owned by Viz.
Yeah, Tokyo Pop was the other one other than Viz. Viz was like the first one I got into. Video Girl AI, I think it was. I just came across that at the old Take-Two place, which is basically like the competitor to Half Price Books. You can buy back in the day, the late 90s. I was buying VHS as a collections of cartoons and anime, because that's what they had before we started bringing out the DVDs. So that's where I found a lot of my anime was on VHS. That's why I got like Golden Boy. Remember that? Wicked City. I think Gungrave was one of them. There's a lot of anime that I watched through VHS, just buying for like $2. Mangas were always like something I don't know. Like when I was 16, buying mangas, a lot of the mangas, even though I'm not buying the risky looking ones, I just felt kind of weird being over there. Like there's a lot of like weird looking covers.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
a lot of cheesecake, I'd say.
There is a lot of cheesecake. Yeah.
What are you doing over there? I'm picking up this one with the frog on it. Nothing else.
Well, even Fire Force, which is not really a cheesecake manga.
No.
You can see on this one, the girl on the cover, forget her name. The reason why this cover is for whatever reason, it's just part of the trope of this book. This character always falls out of her clothes. So, like in the stories, like things will be happening, like they're fighting, and then for some reason, somehow, just it's. I think it's like a joke. I think it's just part of the cultural humor of Japan. He just manages to like fall out of her clothes.
So it's just the guy, creator of Soul Eater. That's the other one that was out back in the day. Yeah.
But nothing else in the book really is like that. It's just like a running gag with her.
Right.
And so if you looked at this cover and you hadn't seen anything else, you'd be like, oh, this looks like a cheesecake book. It's not really.
Is this like 16 plus, like mature, or is this teen?
I would say it's like teen.
Okay. That was the other thing too. Back in the day, you had 16 plus, but you had the more like, there's a little bit of lewd in here. Like you didn't show anything, but it was just like the situations,
Yeah, the most lewd situations in this book is this character always falling out of her clothes, or she'll like fall onto someone, stumble onto someone, and their hand ends up on her breast. And then she'll freak out and be like, "Get off of me!" Like
nosebleeds.
And that's it. There's no sex in the book or stories. Yeah. There's no. It's like I said. I think it's just that cultural thing that just the Japanese probably find super hilarious.
Super Heroes is ecchi Power Ranger fun to watch. Ecchi, that's the other one. Ecchi is like the near lewd. but not, it's fan service. That's the other thing you got to run into. When it came to like manga, it's like I always felt that manga was aimed towards like teenagers. Like still today, it's like I go in the manga section, and it's like, oh, it is just no one my age. I'm 38. It's like, so I always felt weird buying manga. It's like, what's that adult going over by the kids' books?
Well, another thing to consider too is that's part of westernized.
Yeah.
So in Japan, manga is very ubiquitous. They make manga for everybody.
Yeah.
In America, the first mangas and animes that were brought over, it was like targeting kids, like who like cartoons and comics. Like me growing up as a little kid, I was like into Robotech, which everyone of course knows as Macross. Like they weren't bringing the stuff that the adults, because there's no market in America for adult. Kids already like cartoons, so the transition to anime is very simple, and we're starting to see those bridges close, or that's not I'm mixing metaphors. The gaps kind of close, and we're starting to see some. There's more adult mangas. Studio Ghibli does a lot more adult stuff, and when I say adult, I don't mean like mature audiences, but just more for a grown-up mindset, not for kids. Although, like Pixar, their stuff is suitable for kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's all sorts of stuff that just never makes it over here because there's not a market. And so most of the stuff you do see is the shonen stuff, which is targeting young teens.
There you go. Here's your Viz Media. Dragon Ball Z, Inuyasha, Rurouni. Is it Rurouni Kenshin? I don't remember how to spell those or pronounce those. That was a big thing in the early 2000s. I think that's all they have for Viz Media here, unfortunately. Like I said, these were the big popular ones back in the day for me. Dragon Ball, especially in high school.
Dragon Ball was huge.
Yeah, and it was the same thing as we were talking about now. It's like they're in the chat. You watch Dragon Ball? It's so boring. All he does is just power up for 20 minutes while other people panic and get beat their ass kicked. It's like, well, I don't know, man. Like there's all that buildup, and when they finally do get to the fight where Goku joins the fight and just kicks the crap out of Frieza, to me, it's like all that. I love that when he first goes to Super Saiyan in the cartoon of the Dragon Ball Z. I like that, Inuyasha was another one popular by the girls, and some guys. I remember in class were either reading it or just talking about the anime. Feudal Japan kind of thing, monsters, demons, action. Rurouni Kenshin, that was another one that people were talking about. There was also, I'm trying to think what company it was, but it was Yu Yu Hakusho.
Mm-hmm.
Was a big thing. I said there was so much as far as manga going around, like you could just take your pick. My favorite was I don't think I have it on here, but it's Saikareed. I think another thing where I go where I love the stuff where Japan has either been destroyed and like My Hero Academia, everyone's got powers. That was kind of like in Saikareed. Only certain people got powers, and the government wanted to basically to control them. And they wanted to live alone on the island by themselves, and it's just So I mean, I love certain types of mangas. I mean, somebody brought up Fist of the North Star earlier. I did no idea what I was getting into. I was like, oh, okay,
yeah, that's an old school one.
Yeah, I started reading it, and I was just like, all right, this is going. And I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And it's just and just like, holy crap. And then I was like, let's see how they channel the anime. The anime just knocks it up to 11 compared to the manga. But I don't know. Like I said, manga is something that I think if you're a comic book fan, I would try venturing out. Look at some manga. Go to Webtoons or stuff, where you want to, or just go in your local comic book store. Most comic book stores now carry manga. I have both my shops carry manga. One's more predominantly, it's been like that way since the early 90s. They've been carrying one side was all manga, your anime figures, figurines, your Gundams you can build, or some other stuff you can build too. your weep shit. and I used to laugh at him. I was like, dude, aren't you guys a comic book store? Why is there so much freaking manga and anime scrolls? And I realized that's probably what's helping them stay afloat is the manga.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they probably saw it back then with the 90s, with everything that's going. You're like, you know what, manga is the new thing. Everyone was into it. Unlike Pogs, it's still around. But I think we've gone on a little bit more on the manga, a little long. But hope you guys enjoyed this. I had fun talking to you guys, and hopefully my internet wasn't too laggy for you guys. But yeah, manga. I gotta think about it. I gotta go online and make myself a list of mangas that I enjoyed the most. Like a top 10 manga. That'd be kind of fun to go over. All right. I hope you guys had fun, and we'll see. Well, I'll be here tomorrow. Actually, yeah, it'll be tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll have 2 streams going on as far as our TV show reviews, and then Friday will be the final reading, I believe. Yeah, final reading with Palpatine, because Palpatine's going overseas for a couple months, or maybe not a couple months, but a couple weeks. Won't be back till May 18th, I think. But then, yeah, I'll be in charge.
Uh-oh.
Yes. The things I'll do to this channel will be on fire by the time he comes back. It's all good. But who knows? Maybe we'll just turn it into the geeky manga show.
I don't think that's happening.
Right? Clamp, that was the other one. Yeah, that was the other big manga. Never got into it, but that was. I used to. For me, I looked at it how popular it was by how many volumes there was, and Clamp had tons of volumes, so it must have been good. If they had like I said, the ones I read, we did like 26. I think 26 or 30 the most. I tried to not go for the mangas I had like here's 100 volumes, like. Yeah, but yeah, it just Kira that they just recently had a box set for that. Yeah, and like I do like the little mini omnibuses they do for the mangas. You get like 3 volumes in one thing, or those compendiums. I'm not sure if they're omnibus or compendiums, but probably compendiums.
Yeah, I do like those too. The thing about manga, everyone says like, oh, you get so many more pages for your $1 and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, but the pages are smaller and they're usually just like 3 panels. Like,
Yep.
So you're paying like $10 per volume. It can be expensive if buying lots of mangas. They come out every month, so just like comics. So, and like you mentioned, they take up a lot of space. So, I think digital is the way to go. But I would like to, just like I do with comics, I would love to have like a deluxe, like books of like my ultimate favorites. I just don't want to have a room cluttered with mid stuff,
Nobody wants mid stuff in there, cluttering up everything. You only want the good stuff cluttering it.
I mean, even like the pretty good stuff. It's just when your collection is small, like everything's valuable to you. But when you're just like overflowing, you start realizing like I gotta cut this stuff out. I did that with DVDs now. Like I only buy like a Blu-ray if it's like super like special edition of like one of my favorite movies. Otherwise, I'm just happy to have the digital version. I don't need to own the physical anymore.
Yeah, I also saw there's one called Sergeant Frog. So I got to check that out. Yeah, right. My thing is I love the Gundam mangas. Those are my always go to the action stuff like that, Or then I also like dare I say it, back in the day I used to like the harem ones, the comedy ones, the slapstick stuff, romance. Where the poor guy is being hounded by a bunch of beautiful women fighting over him. He just wants to be left alone. That's every guy's fantasy, right?
To be left alone?
No, to have a bunch of women fighting over you. But I don't know. Like I said, I either I like slapstick comedies or I like the basically the dramatic fightings like in the Gundams. The Gundams always killed me. It's like whenever they the guys are like, it's a Gundam, oh god no, and they just die. It just overpowers them. There's a new Gundam out actually. I haven't checked it out. I tried to. I looked it up. I forget what it's called. There's a new Gundam series out, but the main focus is the girl. And what I've been reading some article, it's like, well, it's not woke, you know. It's just supposed to be female led. It's the first time I've ever seen a Gundam series with the main character is a female. So I don't know. I it's had 2 seasons now, but like I said, just because there's a lead doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. But it's like it just kind of weirded me out. I was like, what, really? We're going with that? Oh well. But yeah, might as well end it right here. We're going for 2 hours almost. It was a pleasure to have you.
2 hours.
Oh yeah, pleasure to have you on here, Ash.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Undead Quinn, Tillium, thank you for sticking around. You guys are real troopers. Everyone pretty much abandoned us. I don't know if Eric Breen's still here, but we're down to 4 people, and I know one of them.
I'm sure Eric Breen is watching the Marvel game.
You're right.
Gonna go simp over there.
All right. Like I said, I'll be here tomorrow around 7:30 Central, I think, or right around there, or 8 o'clock Central. Yeah, because we have Flash and Superman and Lois. Check out those reviews, and then Friday there'll be. I'm not sure there'll be a retrospective. Figure out what's going on and who's
Flash still going on.
Yeah. This week, Arrow is supposed to pop up on it. Oliver Queen, with John Diggle.
Wow.
Wally West. So
Wally West.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
What? Okay.
Kid Flash is back this week. Like I said, whatever it gets, as long as we have less to steal, I'm good.
I've been wondering what that actor, the guy who plays Green Arrow, been wondering what he's been up to.
He did that wrestling show.
Yeah, that wrestling show was really good.
And then
I think it's called Heels.
Yeah, and I don't think he's done anything since then.
Yeah, any of you guys, I know everyone else in the chat but me is like into wrestling, it seems like. If you guys haven't seen that show, I'd recommend checking it out. It's really good.
All right.
At least I thought so. What do I know?
I don't know. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Have fun.